Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kilowatt. My name is Bodie, and I am your host. And we have a very big show for you this episode. Like, I have in my Instapaper right now of stories that I've actually went through and I've decided that are going to be put into a show, not necessarily this show. We have over 55 stories this week. Some of those are stories from different outlets that carry the same topic, which really means we have 35 to 40 strong stories. I'm not going to go through all of those this episode. Instead, I'm going to break these up into multiple shorter episodes. They're still going to be decent length, but they're not going to be quite as long as it could be. So there may be a show on Monday next week, a show on Wednesday, and a show on Friday so that I could break this up. I think that's how I'm going to do it, but we'll see. It may just be 2 shows, but I think it's going to be 3 shows next week. So just be prepared. All right, one more quick update. We are changing the way that we do ads. Normally, you'd get 2 ad spots, one at the beginning of the show and one at the end if the show was under 30 minutes. If the show was over 30 minutes, then you got 3 ad spots. Well, I'm changing that to be 3 ad spots if the show is over 20 minutes, 2 ad spots if it's under 20 minutes. And here's why. The show costs a lot of money to make, and I'm spending too much money on this show. I'm doing my taxes right now, and it's just too much. I've actually cut a lot of things that I pay for. Most of that was subscriptions, but even then, I in order for this show to continue, I need to do 3 ad spots because my wife is very patient with me. But when she finds out how much money I actually spend on this show, there may be an issue with that on her side, and she's going to find out soon. We don't hide information from one another. I just haven't told her yet. But if you're a Patreon supporter or an Acast supporter, the good news is you still don't get ads in your feed because you pay. And also, every year I do a full rundown of what it costs to run the show and what I paid for that year. And as soon as I finish my taxes, I will do that episode and give you some other insider information on what's going on with the show. But Acast supporters and Patreon supporters, you're not going to get ads. And if you don't want ads, just go to patreon.com/kilowatt or go to the Acast Plus link in the show notes. And for $1, just $1 a month, $12 a year, you get those ads taken away totally, 100%. So if that's something that irritates you, but you still want to listen to the show, then consider $1 a month. You can also email me if you want to complain, Bodie, BODIE at 918digital.com. However, that's not going to change anything, but I'm welcoming your feedback. Let's get to our EV news. Some journalists got a chance to drive the Hyundai Ioniq 6. I was not asked to join the group, even though these test drives were in Scottsdale, Arizona. And honestly, I'm in no way hurt or offended by the snub. I mean, a little. I'm hurt a little bit by the snub. I'm not going to rehash these reviews. I put some articles and a video in the show notes if you'd like to learn more. A lot of positive feedback on this vehicle, and there's one at a Scottsdale Kia dealer that I'm thinking about checking out next week and maybe doing a test drive and reporting back to you. I actually showed this car to my wife, and she thought it looked pretty nice. Lightyear, maker of a very expensive solar car, filed bankruptcy right after CES. If you remember, I talked to these folks at CES, and I completely changed my opinion about the company, and then they filed bankruptcy. It didn't look like they were going to make it. Lightyear is back, and instead of focusing on that very expensive solar car, which costs $250,000, they're going to focus on a much more affordable solar EV that costs around $40,000. We'll see how this goes. Sales for the Volkswagen ID4 tripled in Q1 2023. Volkswagen sold 9,758 ID4s in Q1. And a little side note here about the ID4. Sales of the ID4 have been paused because of an issue with a door popping open while driving. I don't think this is that big of a deal. VW will fix it. But if you own one, just beware of that. And our final EV story in this segment, Uganda plans to replace all combustion engine powered motorcycles with electric motorcycles for free. The new bikes will be targeted towards motorcycle taxi operators, commonly referred to as boda bodas, in Uganda. Almost 100% of boda bodas in Uganda are powered by fossil fuels. Electric motorcycle maker and EV battery swap startup Spiro is expected to roll out 140,000 electric motorcycles in Uganda over the next 5 years. The electric motorcycles and battery swap stations are expected to be built locally, and the assembly plant will create over 9,000 jobs, which is fantastic for Uganda. The motorcycles, like I said, will be given out free, and Spiro's revenue will come from charging and battery swapping. The motorcycles will feature 6.5 kilowatt motors. They'll reach speeds of 80 kilometers an hour or 50 miles per hour and have a range of 90 kilometers, which is around 56 miles per charge. The $50 million project is funded by the African Fund for Transformation and Industrialization. It's pretty cool stuff. All right, let's jump into our Tesla news. Former Tesla CTO J.B. Straubel left Tesla to found Redwood Materials, a battery recycling company. J.B. is now returning to Tesla as a board member. So if you're one of those folks that complains about how Elon has stacked the board in his favor, you're not going to like this appointment. However, I do think JB is more than qualified to be on the board and would bring some good advice and guidance to Tesla. Kind of along the same lines, Tom Zhu has a new position at Tesla. He is officially Tesla's VP of Automotive. Tom was in charge of Tesla Shanghai, and then over time, he's had more responsibilities, thrusted upon him, probably with more money. At some point, he may end up taking over as Tesla's CEO, so we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. But you heard him talking on Tesla's Investor Day. If you bought a Tesla Model S or Model X that came with a yoke, good news. We talked about this a few weeks ago. For $700, you can get a regular steering wheel. Tesla has started those retrofits now. Honestly, I think this should be for free. I think especially if you asked for a regular steering wheel before your car entered production and they said no, you should definitely get one for free. But I think this should be for free because they didn't give you an option, and obviously, people want it. I don't think it should cost you $700. That's on Tesla, not on the owners. Tesla is recalling 422 Model 3s built between 2018 and 2019. The issue has to do with a potential suspension separation. When you compare this to the amount of Model 3s that have been sold in that time, a very, very small recall, not that big of a deal. We're going to talk a little bit about Tesla's Master Plan Part 3. The official document was posted to their website this week. We covered a lot of this stuff during Tesla Investor Day, so we're not going to go over it again. I haven't had a chance to read through the 40-plus page document, so I'm relying on some journalists for the following stories. However, I will read through it, and if I see anything interesting, I will bring it to your attention. All right, first up, inside Tesla's master plan document, they teased 3 new vehicles: a commercial van / passenger van with a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack, high nickel cells, and it will sell around 10 million. I don't know if that's 10 million a year or 10 million total through the product life cycle. They don't really say. I'm going to guess it's 10 million a year. I would expect to pay a lot of money if I were you, if you were looking at buying one of these vehicles, because it's a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack with nickel cells, so that's not going to be cheap. So that's 2 of the 3 vehicles. The third one is a bus, and now that Tesla's building the Tesla Semi, it's not a huge jump to go from semi to electric bus. The master plan shows the bus having a 300 kilowatt hour battery pack. It'll be built with LFP battery cells, and they're going to sell around 1 million. I'm not sure if that's a year or, like I said, I'm sure it's a year, but it doesn't really specify. Let's see here. The master plan also mentioned a compact car, which some people are calling the Model 2, that will be built with LFP batteries, 53 kilowatt hour battery pack. sell somewhere around 42 million, and this will likely be the car built at Giga Mexico. And I'm pretty sure that Elon said that at the investor day. That's why I said likely, because I don't know that for 100%. That might have been a fever dream of mine. One of the things that the master plan is lacking is mention of the Tesla Roadster. So should we be worried about this? I'd say no. The master plan is like a glimpse into Tesla's future, like what they're planning on doing to reduce the world's carbon footprint, or what they think needs to be done to reduce the world's carbon footprint, and what their part in that overall plan will be. That's probably better to say. The Tesla Roadster is a very niche product. It's stupid expensive, and it's not likely to be a big impact on CO2 reduction. This is a $250,000 car, and on top of that, very low volume. I would not read anything into this at all. One of the cool things about Elon is that if you have a suggestion or a complaint, you can reach out to him on Twitter, and oftentimes those suggestions/complaints will be implemented or addressed in some way. A Twitter user asked Elon if Tesla could do something to detect people in the car and keep the temperature on when the driver leaves. So let's say you're with your family, you got another adult or a teenager in the car, and you got some little ones in the back. The driver gets out of the car to go and run an errand for whatever reason. You got those other people just sitting in the car waiting. Well, the car's HVAC system will eventually turn off, and what the Twitter user is asking is you keep the temperature on if people are detected in the car. Elon agreed that it would be more convenient to keep the car on automatically if the interior cameras detected occupants, and promised to make that change. So that's awesome. Some Twitter users were critical of the person asking this question. I'm not sure why. This seems reasonable to me. In the users, as a lady, in her tweet to Elon, she was talking about she had to run an errand, and she left her teenager and her other small child in the car. So a teenager is perfectly capable of supervising that child in the car, and the teenager shouldn't have to keep activating the HVAC system while the mom's running the errand. So this makes total sense to me, and I would like to see this implemented, especially here in Arizona, where a lot of children die of heat stroke deaths, and some of those heat stroke deaths in cars are negligence. Some of them are just tired parents who make a mistake, and as awful as it sounds, in those cases, those infants or small children often die. So, yeah. If you had a system that detected a child in a car seat, or if you had a system that detected a young child in the back sleeping or whatever, that would be great. I'm 100% on board with this. I'd also like to have some sort of notification sent to the parent's phone that somebody's in the car in this situation. Just a reminder. The Texas-built Model Y, the one with 4680 cells, is now available on Tesla's configurator. Before, you just had to check Tesla's inventory to see if one of these cars showed up. Also, I should mention that it's not a guarantee that you get the car with the 4680 battery cells. It might actually be 2170 battery cells, depending on what's available at the time. In terms of specs, this car has a 279-mile range, 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, dual motor, all-wheel drive, which is great. Cost $49,990. This is fantastic. The long-range Model Y has a range of 330 miles and a cost of $52,990. So a $3,000 difference. For my money, I would probably go with the $53,000 vehicle just because of the longer range, but I understand not everybody has that ability to do that. Overall, I'm very happy that Tesla is offering this vehicle. Also, I'm very happy that Tesla's just got a little bit cheaper. There was a $1,000 price drop for the base Model 3 and the Performance Model 3, a $2,000 price drop for the Model Ys. The Model S got a $5,000 price drop, and the Model X got a $10,000 price drop. So that is pretty fantastic. Tesla's newest FSD update, 11.3.4, has improved safety and increased customization. Not a Tesla app noted that Tesla has merged the vision and planning stacks, improving highway functionality, and introduced new visualizations, messages, and UI tweaks. Some of the improvements are a improved multi-camera network system, a next-generation planner, complex interactions have been improved. There's less reliance on painted lines. If, like my neighborhood up until recently, did not have painted lines. As far as highway FSD goes, positioning in wide lanes has improved. And then there's been some improvements on handling with significant turns on highways in California and in Arizona and probably other places, like getting on or off a freeway or transitioning to a different freeway. Those turns can be pretty significant. 2 new safety features have been introduced that address intersection handling, like if there's a yellow light or flashing yellow light or red light. If Tesla thinks that you're abusing or misusing the system, they now have the ability to take FSD away. The update also allows drivers to access interior cameras and adjust their FSD profile from the right scroll wheel on the steering wheel. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if you'd really want to be doing that while you're driving, but and I actually don't even know if you can. Let's see here. And then we talked last week about the park assist, which some drivers think is great and others think is awful. So we won't address that again. Overall, sounds like 11.3.4. Is that what it was? 11.3.4. Yeah, is a pretty strong update. Sunday happens to be Easter, so I will see Brad and Sierra on Sunday, and I will be sure to ask them all about it and get back to you. All right, our final story here. Tesla is a car company that obviously makes electric cars. They have cameras in their cars to help us as drivers be safe, but also to help improve Tesla's autonomous driving efforts. Some of the information caught on these cameras is sent back to Tesla for labeling purposes. And then if something weird happens that's outside the norm, Tesla will look at those videos and they'll see, what should have happened? What would a reasonable driver done in this situation? And hopefully taking that information and inputting it into their system, it makes full self-driving a better product, right? That's our goal. And we as owners, not me, but you folks out there who own Teslas, have agreed to this, allowing Tesla to use this information caught on camera so that it makes your product better. And you may be asking yourself, why is he telling me all of this stuff? I know all of that. Well, as it would happen, some of these videos that Tesla collects have been shared amongst the team of labelers. And I'm going to go through that. Before I do that, though, I should say that Tesla says that they care about customers' privacy and have designed the cameras to protect that privacy. Now, that's not exactly true because Tesla employees secretly shared videos and pictures from these cameras with each other from 2019 to 2022. So that's 3-year span there. Could potentially be a lot of different videos shared. So I'm going to run down some of those. Some of the employees shared funny videos and memes made from customer car footage in private group chats. However, some recordings showed intimate moments of customers, like them doing their laundry or playing with their kids. Some recordings were made when the car was turned off, and employees can see inside customers' garages and private properties, which is not supposed to happen. Tesla used to receive these videos from cars when they were off, but they said that they stopped doing that. So I don't know when these videos were taking place, or if Tesla said they stopped, but they didn't really stop. Tesla did not respond to questions about this specific incident or incidents. Some of these videos showed embarrassing moments of Tesla customers, like a man walking out to his car naked. Others showed car crashes and road rage incidents. One video showed a Tesla hitting a child on a bike. These videos were shared privately among Tesla employees, and they spread quickly. Tesla's San Mateo office hired mostly young employees in their 20s and 30s, although I don't think that's an excuse. And these folks shared the memes and videos within their internal messaging system. So Tesla, if it was within their internal messaging system, Tesla knew about this. Some of the shared content included funny videos of dogs, people tripping. Others were disturbing, like someone being dragged into a car. Horrific. That should have been shared with the police. There were times when Tesla managers would try to stop sharing of the inappropriate images and videos, but it didn't work, and the videos were still being shared and images. Reuters contacted over 300 former Tesla employees involved in developing the company's self-driving system, and more than a dozen of those former employees agreed to answer questions anonymously. All right, this next part is very important. Reuters was unable to get any of the shared videos or images and couldn't determine if the practice of sharing recordings continues to today or how common it is. And to my mind, it also tells me that they have no way of proving this other than what these former employees are telling them. And it still might be true. I'm just saying, keep that in the front of your mind as we go through this, because there is a chance that it's not true. But it's probably true. Some of the employees questioned did say that they shared recordings for work purposes only, so that's great. But two ex-employees said they weren't bothered by the sharing of images and videos, saying customers had given their consent, or that people had long ago given up any reasonable expectation of keeping their data private. I have two words to say to those people, and one of them begins with an F and the other one begins with a Y, because I have not given up my expectation of keeping my personal private data private. That's ridiculous. I don't like those two people. I don't know who they are, but I can tell you right now, I don't like them. If this is true, this is awful, and everyone who was involved in sharing these videos in a way that was not appropriate should be fired. And the reason why is because Tesla needs to take this seriously. Like, I don't care how good of an employee you are. If you shared this, you violated the trust of the customer, and you have damaged the company's brand, and you should be fired. And this is very hard for me to say because I am very pro-labor, but I think this crosses a line, and it's gross. Tesla should have known about this. It sounds like they did know about this. There should have been safeguards put in place, and this should, if it did happen, it happens for a very small, short amount of time, and then it stops. But it went on for 3 years, according to this article. And we still don't know if it's going on to this day, and hopefully it's not. And you know what? I'm gonna throw another hopefully out there. Hopefully this article isn't true, but it probably is. So, yeah, gross. All right. You know what? I said in the past that I was not going to end the show on a bummer note. So I don't have anything else in terms of articles because that was our last one. But before I recorded the show today, I took my family to go see the Super Mario movie, which I very much enjoyed as a 48-year-old man who played Super Mario as a young kid, and even Donkey Kong before that when Mario was called Jumpman. I enjoyed it a lot. My 10-year-old son, who is a video game fan as well, did not enjoy it as much. He thought that it lacked plot. But I thought it was a good movie, and if you like Super Mario and you like those hidden gems that they throw into movies, go and watch it. However, I do think they beat you over the head with Easter eggs a little bit. But overall, good movie. Worth your time. All right, everybody, that is it for me this week. I hope you all have a wonderful week. If you want to email me, it's Bodie, BODIE, at 918digital.com. You can also find me on Twitter at 918digital. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And should be an episode on Monday, episode on Wednesday, and an episode on Friday. Just to kind of keep things short. All right, everybody, thanks so much for listening. Have a great day.